So very soon on Global Dokkan, we are going to be getting the EZA for the 5th year anniversary fusions. So of course, we already checked out the LR GOGETA in the previous video, and then today we're going to look at the VEGITO. And I think between the two of them, VEGITO is just a little bit better in terms of their kit, because VEGITO does have the potential to do a couple more supers, and because of the amount of attack and defense he's getting on his super attack effects, those really do matter. So VEGITO, in terms of his kit, is better, but then on the other hand, GOGETA has much better teams, like just outright simply way better, right? So I would say they're dead equal in terms of their overall performance, but if you've got a really good team for both of them, VEGITO probably will perform just a little bit better, because again, his kit, I would say, is just a little bit better. So with all that said, I guess we can just go ahead and get right into it. On this opening rotation right here, we are going to have 3 out of 7 links. We got some support from the Gohan, so, you know, a solid opening rotation, but, I mean, nothing insane. And we're sitting at 175k defense. Alright, I mean, you know, not really that great, right? I mean, start of turn 1, his defense isn't going to look insane, but there is a lot to consider. So he gets a lot of attack and defense on super. More specifically, he's just stacking attack on both 12 and 18 key. So, you know, in his pre-transform state, his attack stat's just going to get higher and higher. And then he also is getting 50% defense on his 18 key super, and then 30% defense on his 12 key. So that's actually really good because he does have built-in additionals. So of course that means, you know, obviously he can get multiple supers, and then his defense is going to be really good. Key is not looking good for us right here. So we'll just get 4 key right there. He does get an extra 4 key when attacking, but unfortunately that's not enough to get us an 18 key super attack. So, you know, we're not going to be looking crazy right here, but is what it is. You know, it happens. Sometimes you just get unlucky key luck. But we're a little over 3 million right there. So as I mentioned, he does have built-in additionals, which we did get. Okay, so definitely pretty good. So with the additionals, his attack stats are pretty impressive because, of course, he's doing multiple of them. But just by themselves, wouldn't really say it's insane. But look at that. We got the triple super, so that means we stacked attack 3 times. And we got 50%, or no, we didn't get our 18 keys. So we didn't get 50% defense, but we got 30% defense 3 times. So, you know, a lot of defense on super right there, or with all the super attacks. And he does also get 100% defense when attacking. So what, we were at, I think, like 600k defense right there, if not a little bit less than that. So, I don't know. I mean, turn 1, it's not horrible. I mean, their defense in their base state, and when I'm referring to them, I'm referring to the VEGITO and the GOGETA because they have virtually the same kit pre-transformed. But when, you know, they're in their base state, they're not really that great. They can be impressive if you throw them in slot 3, and then they have that 70% chance to dodge. But other than that, they're definitely a slot 2 unit. I mean, you just cannot get away with running them slot 1. I mean, you saw, what was it, 170k defense? Yeah, just not enough, right? So you kind of need to throw them in slot 3, which can be a little tricky because then you want to stack with them, you know, to get as many attack stacks in, so then when they transform, they're hitting as hard as possible. But I don't really think it's that big of a deal. As long as you build them with some additionals, you know, the first turn you get them, you just throw them in slot 3. You could do like 3 supers like we just got on that first turn, and then they'll be fine. They're still going to be looking really impressive offensively. So, all right, we got a little bit of a better turn right here, at least in terms of our linking partner. We're going to have 5 out of 7 links right here because, of course, we do get legendary power on super, but we did lose support, so we're at 148k defense. So, yeah, I mean, again, after we super, you know, probably like 500, 600k defense. Without guard or damage reduction, that really isn't that impressive, but you know, you got to keep in mind what this guy's doing later in the fight, because of course he's got the transformation, and then he builds up in the transformation, so there's a lot other things going on. But for now, this definitely isn't that crazy. But then again, if you're not comfortable with his levels of defense, you always have the option of throwing him in slot 3, and then he has that 70% chance to dodge, which of course is very useful, right? It's basically guaranteed dodge on all attacks, unless you're unlucky, which, you know, can't really do anything about that. I mean, if you get unlucky with the 70% chance to dodge, you were just bound to lose, right? Because if this guy gets hit, let's say you bring him in, I don't know, Sin Shenron. If this guy doesn't dodge in slot 3, he's going to do some damage, right? Or he's going to take some damage. He's going to take a lot of damage. And AoEs, too, they do affect him if he's in slot 3. So, for instance, if you get AoE'd, or if the enemy's doing an AoE attack in slot 1, then this guy is going to get hit with that because the 70% chance to dodge only procs after he attacks in slot 3. So, you know, there's definitely ways this guy can get crushed, but as long as you get somewhat lucky with the way the attacks are spread out, and then, you know, you just throw him in slot 3, you get lucky with the dodging, then in base, this guy's going to be fine. And I know that sounds like there's a lot to it, but most of the time, you're going to be fine in slot 3, right? But I do want to briefly go over his kit before we transform, because I made the mistake in the previous video. I was going to start going over Gogeta's kit, and then he transformed, and then I didn't have time to do it. So this guy starts off with 140% attack and defense. He gets 4 ki when attacking. He launches the additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super as the first or second attacker in a turn. So with that, you are kind of geared to putting him in slot 1 or 2, which I just mentioned. You kind of want to throw him in slot 3, especially in base. But most events, I mean, turn 1, they're not going to be hitting that hard. So, you know, there's definitely those few events where turn 1, they're just insanely hard hitting out of the gate. So you got to just throw this guy in slot 3. But because of the built-in additionals in slot 1 or 2, you could probably get away with throwing this guy in slot 2 if the first phase isn't that hard hitting, or maybe if this guy has type advantage or something like that. But then in slot 3, this guy again gets that 70% chance to dodge, and then he gets a guaranteed additional super. So I think throwing him in slot 3 is probably the best way to do it. And then he gets the 100% defense when attacking. So, all right, we got the transformation here. It definitely still looks really clean. So on this first turn right here, similar to the Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, we have a 100% chance to dodge all attacks, no matter what slot we're in. So obviously that's pretty impressive, right? Just no damage whatsoever as long as the event doesn't cancel dodging. Now right here, I think these tech key spheres are going to drop for us. Actually, yeah, we can just get the STR ones. So he still gets ki when attacking. We'll go over that in a second. So right here, we're going to be very close to a 24 ki super attack. So yeah, a good rotation right here, considering we're guaranteed to take no damage. And also, I mean, you'll see, we're about to do some damage right here. His damage is insane because of all the additional supers he's doing. And keep in mind, he builds up, and we're not built up at all on this turn. And his damage, guaranteed, still going to be really impressive. So I guess we could just start going over his kit right here. 7.6, okay, pretty solid. But to start off, he does have a 100% chance to dodge the first turn after transforming, obviously. We already mentioned that. And then he gets 150% attack and defense. He gets 5 ki, and then he launches a guaranteed additional super attack, and then has a medium chance of doing another super attack as the first or second attacker in a turn. So just like that, you've got the guaranteed additional super, and you've got a medium chance of doing another additional super. Unfortunately, it's not worded in the way we like it. It's a medium chance of launching an additional super, and not launches an additional that has a medium chance of becoming a super. So, you know, that kind of sucks, but with all the additional supers this guy's doing, I really don't care. It's still good, right? And then this guy gets 7 ki, he launches an additional super attack, and then has a great chance to dodge in slot 3, and then he does build up. So he gets 1 ki up to 5, 22% attack and defense up to 88% with every attack performed, and then he launches an additional attack when activating the active skill, or when ki is 24. So you've got the additional attack just guaranteed in slot 1 or 2, and then technically you've got a guaranteed additional super in slot 3 as well. So wherever you are, you've got 1 guaranteed additional super incoming. You also have You also have a medium chance of launching another additional super attack if you're in slot 1 or 2. And then if you do the active skill, or if ki is 24, then you get another guaranteed additional super. And then you could always get the hidden potential system additional super, and I didn't even mention the obviously 1 super you're doing because you get a super attack, right? So this guy is going to be doing so many supers, and as I mentioned first thing in the video, because of all the attack and defense he's getting on both 18 ki and 12 ki, his defense in slot 2 or 3 is just, it's going to be amazing, right? I mean, that's why this guy is primarily a slot 2 and 3 unit. But if you're not comfortable with his defense, again, you just throw him in slot 3. He's got that 70% chance to dodge. So right here, we're at 334k defense. Still really impressive, right? I mean, he gets a lot of defense on super, like I just mentioned. And if you think this is too low, you just throw him in slot 3. But we aren't fully built up yet, so our defense is still going to get a little bit higher. I guess we're just going to throw him in slot 1. I'm not really comfortable with the TUR VEGITO, this guy. Not really comfortable throwing him in slot 1, so we'll just throw the LR VEGITO there. We are going to get a 24 ki super as well, because we do get, obviously, a lot of ki when attacking. So a very good turn right here. We got a lot of links. We got a lot of support from the Bardock as well. And just, again, a good rotation because we built up a little. So let's see. We've got the guaranteed additional super, or we've got a couple guaranteed additional supers because we're at 24 ki and we're in slot 1. But starting off with an 11 million attack stat. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Into a 9.2 million attack stat. Okay, so now that's 250% defensive raises right here. So our defense is, you know, over 600k. And then we got the triple super with an 11 million. Okay, so now our defense is like, what, 800k range. And then we got another super, okay, for 12 million too. Okay, so yeah, now the damage starts to get crazy because, of course, you know, it just starts to ramp up. And we got another super. What was that, close to 13 million? Okay, dude. Yeah, alright, so pretty good damage on this turn. I mean, you can see what I'm saying. All the supers this guy is doing, and all the attack and defense he's getting on those supers is just crazy. So I guess with that shown, we can just go ahead and cut to the next rotation with Vegito. I think we can use his active skill, and we'll see him fully built up. So I don't want to fluff the video up. We don't got to show this next rotation, so you can just go ahead and cut to that. Alright, so we're back, and we do have the Vegito fully built up right here because, in blue, we've done like 8 supers at this point. So, yeah, we're definitely fully built up. We're at 537k defense. I mean, that's pretty good, I guess, for a start of turn defensive stat. I mean, we do have 58% defensive support right here, so you do have to keep that in mind. But still, of course, we get a massive amount of attack and defense on super, so I would say that's still pretty impressive. And we do have his active skill. Now, one thing I do want to mention is similar to the Gogeta, if you use the active skill in slot 3, then you could throw this guy in any slot, and he still has that 70% chance to dodge. Kind of weird. I have no idea how that works, but it's just a fact, and it's pretty cool as well. I mean, 70% chance to dodge at any slot. I guess you could just throw him in slot 1 if you get that. But I do want to play this active skill. We're probably going to kill. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just show this, and then we'll cut to the red zone test. But then in the red zone test, we'll see him fully built up and see like his attack stats and all that when he's fully built up. So anyway, let's go ahead and play this. Yeah, 14.4, definitely very impressive. Look at that KO screen too. Looks amazing. So, I mean, there's no real reason to not use this guy, right? You get almost 15 million attack stat with the crit, and you get a badass KO screen like this. So, it's just a win-win. But I guess with all that shown, we can go and cut to the red zone test. Overall, I mean, of course, this guy's cooking. He's definitely looking good. Alright, so we're here fighting Red Zone Broly, and I guess this isn't the best fight for Vegito because, of course, you can't dodge in here, but I mean, we got type advantage during the final phase, so it's good enough. And I am kind of curious how well he's going to tank as well, because, I mean, his defense is good, but I don't know. In slot 1, I'm curious if he's going to be okay right here. I don't think we're going to get supered, because I'm pretty sure I used the Scouter a couple turns ago, and I think it lasts for 3 turns, so we would see if we were taking a super right here. But, yeah, okay, double digits in slot 1 even before we super. So, obviously, I mean, that's pretty good, right? I mean, double digits before you super kind of ensures that if you don't get supered, I mean, with type advantage, you can run this guy in slot 1. Look at that, 10.9. Dude, this guy's damage. It's so crazy because all the supers he's doing, like, if you have type advantage, dude, you're going to do so much damage. Like, you're basically just going to kill the enemy. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of damage, especially if you build him with some crits, it's just going to get really crazy. So, unfortunately, I think, what was that, only 3 supers, which is still a lot, but compared to how many he can do, little on the lower end. Look at that, Broly already down to lower than half of his health. So, yeah, very good. I'm hoping we can get to use his active skill in here. Maybe get to see him take a super, but not sure if that'll work out because, well, look at Broly's health, right? It's very low. So, we'll see how it works. Again, you can't dodge in here, so we can't do the shenanigans where we put him in slot 3, use the active skill, and throw him in slot 1 and he dodges. But because he has type advantage, this is still a really good fight for him, as long as you get past the AoE phase. The AoE phase can be really difficult for this guy because if you get AoE'd in slot 1 before he supers, of course that can, give you a little bit of trouble, right? So, okay, I think we're fine right here. Vegeta and Trunks have their guard in slot 1. They were a little over 500k defense, so we should be good. I don't know if we'll kill. I probably shouldn't have gotten an 18 key super with the Vegeta and Trunks in slot 3. Alright. As long as we don't get a bunch of additionals and crits, I think we're fine here. Because Bardock isn't going to do any damage. He's not really a high damaging unit. But, I don't know. We'll see. Alright, 147k. I mean, I guess that's not that bad, right? I mean, Broly doesn't hit insanely hard now. At least if you compare him to some other events. I mean, 1.2, I think, is his damage on a super attack. So, comparing him to, like, Stage 7 or Stage 8 of the Shadow Dragon event, or comparing him to, like, Cell Max or something like that, he does fall a little bit short. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I mean, I know his main gimmick is that, like, you can't dodge in here. But now that more units have released, it's been a while since 7th year anniversary, we've got a lot of units who have guard, damage reduction, etc. So, I mean, they're really just fine in here, even without the dodge. But then also, now counters aren't a dodge. They're like a nullification. So you can do those in this event now. So, with everything, I mean, Broly just isn't really that difficult. I mean, it just is what it is. It's been a long time, so of course, events get less and less difficult. That's not to say, newer players should be able to just beat him with a completely, like, horrible team. I mean, if you can't beat him, I get it, right? I mean, it can be difficult in some situations, especially the AoE phase. But, I mean, you know, with a team like this, we're bound to win. So we're here at 436k defense. I guess we already used the active skill, so we could just throw him in slot 1, see how good he's going to look. We got a 24 key. Look at that. Our raw attack is over 4 million, so... dude, Vegito's just so crazy. I'm, like, 100% sure we're going to kill right here. So we're not going to see him take a super, but... Look at that. 15 million. 15 million with 2 guaranteed additional supers. And we have a medium chance of doing another super after that. And we can do our hidden potential system additional super. And we could have done our active skill right there, which would have given us another additional super attack. And obviously the damage from the active skill. Dude, Vegito's just so crazy. Let's cut to the unit breakdown. Alright, so here we have Ultimate and Invincible Fusion Vegito. So starting off with his leader skill, it is Final Trump Card or Potara, category Key +3, HP and attack and defense plus 170%. Pretty good leader skill for newer players, free-to-play players. I'm sure that'll be fairly useful. And then his super attack effect on his 12 key is that he stacks attack, raises defense for 1 turn, and then causes colossal damage to enemy. So pretty good 12 key super attack effect. The defense is definitely really good. And then his 18 key super attack effect is the exact same, except he now gets 50% defense for 1 turn, and then does mega colossal damage. And then his passive is that he gets attack and defense plus 140%, he gets 4 key when attacking, and then he launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super as the first or second attacker in a turn. Then he launches a guaranteed additional super attack, and then has a great chance of evading enemies' attack, including super, as the third attacker in a turn. And then he also gets 100% defense when attacking, and then he transforms when conditions are met. So, in base, you know, he's not going to be insane, but he's going to be pretty useful. You throw him in slot 3, you get that 70% chance to dodge. You get the 100% defense when attacking, you got the additionals, you got all the defense from the additionals, so he can be good in base, but it's nothing compared to blue, right? And then his transformation condition starts from turn 4, obviously very good condition. His links are Sand Warrior Race, Brainiacs, Power Bestowed by God, Over in a Flash, Fuse Fighter, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, and then I guess we can just go over his categories now. He's got Realm of Gods, Potara, Future Saga, Transformation Boost, Time Travelers, Kamehameha, Final Trump Card, Battle of Wits, Time Limit, Accelerated Battle, Battle of Fate, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Fuse Fighters, and Superheroes. So a lot of really good teams, and a lot of crappy teams as well. I mean, Time Travelers, Future Saga, Potara isn't really that good, Battle of Wits is, I guess, decent. Time Limit isn't that great, so, you know, a lot of pretty solid teams. I guess Fuse Fighters isn't amazing either, so definitely good with his categories. And then when you transform, his super attack effect on his 12 key is he gets 50% attack and defense, colossal damage. His 18 key is that he greatly raises defense, so 50% defense, for 3 turns, and then causes mega colossal damage. So he's carrying over defense into the next turn, which is really good considering it's 50% defense. So, you know, a very big defensive buff, right? And then for his passive, he gets guaranteed dodge for the first turn after transforming. He gets attack and defense plus 150%. He gets 5 key and then launches an additional super attack and then medium chance of launching another additional super attack as the first or second attacker in a turn. He gets 7 key and then launches a guaranteed additional super and then has the great chance of dodging as the third attacker in a turn. And then he gets 1 key up to 5, 22% attack and defense up to 88% with every attack performed, and then launches a guaranteed additional super when activating the active skill or when key is 24. So the build-up is extremely easy because of how many attacks this guy is doing in a turn. You're basically building up, like, the first turn you get this guy in blue. So extremely easy there, you know, more key, more attack and defense. And then the next turn you have him, defensively, he's just going to be amazing. So you don't really have to worry about him that first turn when you transform into blue as well, because he has the guaranteed dodge. So even though he's not built up, I mean, he's still going to be fine, right? And then his active skill, the effect is that it greatly raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to enemy. And then the condition for the active skill is that it can be activated when facing only one enemy whose HP is 50% or less starting from the next attacking turn. So it specifies, once you transform with him into blue, you have to wait till the turn after that to do the active skill. So it's kind of unfortunate, but I said this in the Gogeta showcase, not really that big of a deal. It gives you 1 turn to build up with him, so then the active skill can do more damage. So, I mean, I guess it is what it is, right? And then his link set is now it changes. So he's got Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Power Bestowed by God, Over in a Flash, Fuse Fighter, Fierce Battle, and then Legendary Power. So I guess that is the LR Vegito showcase. Let me know what you guys are thinking of this guy down in the comments. Personally, I'm really excited. We're finally getting some Vegito representation. I mean, you know, even though it's an EZA, not a new Vegito, whatever, I'll take it, right? Because Dokkan just forgot about Vegito, bro, just completely. So definitely good that we're getting this guy, and his EZA, of course, is very broken. So once again, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.